Welcome everybody to this special quasi-live version of the Free Will Burn podcast. I'm Steve. Today I had one of the most exciting experiences I've had as an expat living in Colombia now for 6 years. You're about to see a video of the El Tigre caravan through Armenia Colombia today, in which my wife and I went and we got decked out there by people. They gave us things like this hat and this wristband and some other stuff. I did buy a Colombian flag, which you see back there behind me. And I mean, I'm still very excited about this. What follows this is about 15 minutes of me starting out on the scene. I was originally planning on going live, but we haven't gone live before, and I didn't really have a setup for that. So I decided just to record it in a bunch of different clips on my phone, holding literally out the window on a gimbal, because my wife was driving the car through the caravan. So I hope you enjoy this, and no, this is not a political statement about the election in Colombia. This just happened to be going on, and it's a relatively new thing in Colombia. And I wanted to experience it like I've experienced so many wonderful things living in Colombia. So you're going to hear me talk about it at the beginning. It's going to go live here in a second, quasi-live. It just happened. We just got back like an hour and a half ago. And then I'm going to add a voice over after I stop talking, because there's no more conversation from me as the event goes on. And I'll be back at the end to talk a little bit about the day itself. So here we go. Hope you enjoy it. If you like this, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Give me some comments. If you want to come to Colombia, if you visit Colombia, were you there today? Do you live in Armenia? Do you happen to speak English and can understand me? This is going to be auto-dub, so feel free to reply in Espanol. No problema. No problema. And so, hey, everybody, I really hope you enjoy this. This was a great event. Here we go. Okay, this is Armenia Colombia at the El Tigre. Not going to try to pronounce his names, too many of them. Plus, I'm not going to get too politicized here. I'm just here observing. I'm an international observer, you could say. We are waiting on the side of the road for this to get going. It's on both sides of a one-way road, so I'm really kind of wondering how we're going to be doing that. I guess there's going to be a return, as they call it, up there that we'll join, and it's going to go through Armenia. I have remember these from the World Cup years ago? They are quite obnoxious. Yep, now I have one. And I even bought a brand new Colombian flag. My wife is a big supporter. This is who we're here to see. Alvaro La Esprilla. And check out this Jeep over here. Very fancy, very fancy. So anyway, I'm going to try to shoot this as we go along. I'm not going to comment a lot because I don't really have any commentary other than just to say that this is quite the experience to be at something like this. Very loud bunch, I must say. And it's quite a lot of support for the candidate. So election is a week from tomorrow. Today is Saturday. It's on the 31st. And at any rate, I'm going to get back at it. I'll be back. So you don't see this in America. Not at least like this. And oddly, you'll never see this in Colombia. This appears to be the first campaign that they've done this, which is quite fascinating. Quite immersive, I must say. Being a gringo here. Okay, we are in the car, getting ready to go be part of this caravan. Okay, this is me now afterwards. After I put this video together, I'm gonna do a little narration. First off, one thing I do want to say, I was going to correctly pronounce the name of the candidate. It's Abelardo de la Espieja, okay? Not the way that I said it, Espieja, it's Espieja. And the L's, for those in North America, are pronounced with a J sound more than a Y sound here. So here we are, and this is kind of out of order, this entire video, because there were so many clips that I couldn't really organize them. And the way that my phone recorded them, they weren't in order when I dumped them down to do this. So what you're seeing here is, of course, driving through Armenia. And this is not tourist Colombia. This is everyday Colombia around us. And I think that's something exciting also for people to see, is how Colombians actually live. You know, people here live out in the open more than Americans are used to. I mean, it's a wide open space. You know, like I've talked about with my own house and stuff like that. In some instances, there's, you know, your dining room doesn't even have walls. It's on the porch. Because living in this region, the area is just so warm all the time, you know, right around mid 70s to the low 80s tops, and year round, you know, because of this location. But these are roads that I drive every day. And so what you're seeing here is, on one side is where the cars are supposed to be. On that other side, the right-hand side, that's reserved for the buses. But it never actually works out that way. It mostly does. But, you know, everything is relative in Colombia. You know, everything feels closer together here. The noise, the people, the movement. I mean, you'll see stuff like that truck that dumping concrete just all of a sudden take up 2 lanes of the road. Stuff is very, very common. Here's some more driving through the city. And, you know, you don't really watch Colombia like when you're driving in it. You just move through it. I've described driving here when it's a normal situation. Like here, this is closer to that. I've described it as like you have to think like you're a blood cell in your body, and just keep flowing. Just go, go, go. As long as you don't think about it, everything's going to be fine. You're going to have to drift. You're going to have to bounce around. Things are going to happen. Motos. See, there's the motos. And you can see how often they go between the cars and stuff like that. This is actually, see, Cali and the Puerto. That is going in the direction of where we live. This is actually later in the actual event. Again, I apologize for them not being in order. And I'm saying this for those of you that might be watching, maybe expats or anybody that's been to Armenia, or perhaps you live in Armenia, because I believe this is going to be auto-translated. This is one of the most exciting areas of town. You go through this area where you're turning here. You see where there's just an on-ramp there. There's possibly traffic there. And then usually you just keep going. You just keep going. You just keep going. Cars there's no lanes. Everybody's just sort of trying to get in. And so there's 2 directions there they could go. Most people go this way because it either goes back into Armenia to the left, or to the right, you go south towards the Panares area of Armenia, which is one of the last neighborhoods or barrios, or areas, whatever you want to say, of the city before you leave the city proper, which is the way that we go because we live here. See, here we go. We're going that way. Not, if we would have taken a left there, we would have went towards downtown Armenia. Now we're heading out of town technically. And this area here, it's crazy because these buildings that you see up here on the right, there's times when all of a sudden a semi has to back into them, and you have to wait for it to pull up, reposition, back and forth until eventually it gets square with backing in. It can take a long time. And this is the way that traffic works. You see here, you just sort of have to dive in. There's not going to be an opening. You just got to do it. You see the supporters there on the sidewalk? People are cheering on these supporters of El Tigre. I'll just refer to him like that because that's his name. And here's a guy at this store over there waving at the people. This is an area that, again, all these areas I'm very familiar with, but you'll see this guy on the sidewalk here, both of them, the old guy walking like that, you see a lot of that. Sometimes they have one leg, whatever. The other guy, he's likely smoking some kind of drug. And here we go. This actually is leading up to the place we were just at. Again, I apologize for them being out of order, but it doesn't really matter for the experience. But even the people up in those buildings, as we got closer, we noticed they were, waving. Some of them were just looking at it. But, just an exciting event. This here, I think we're coming up on the bridge. Yes, we are. There's a sign for El Tigre. And so, actually, we're not to the bridge yet. We're just sort of driving through town. But you can see how there's really, the lanes are there, but they're irrelevant. This intersection here, getting on the highway or the other road here is always a circus because you cannot see if the cars are coming. You have to literally get into the lane to do it. Now, this is further on down in the same part of town, a little further, but what I want you to notice is look at the storefronts and stuff like that. This is something that most Americans would probably find a little shocking. This is when most Americans might use something derogatory to think about Colombia. These kids standing out there bare feet on the sidewalk. But that's the energy everywhere. It's just like that. You just deal with it. This guy here, my wife pulls, stops and lets him go forward, gives us, a wave. And a lot of Americans, frankly, be shocked by a lot of this. But this city feels alive in ways many American cities simply don't, at least anymore. It's probably been a very, very long time since you can feel how public life is here. It's not like everybody knows your name, but it's just, I talk about it a lot. When you meet somebody from Colombia for the first time, it's, you can talk about your past all you want, but it really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you do from this point going forward. And yeah, there's poverty here, absolutely. But there's also a constant human interaction. People adapt here. You see it everywhere. You notice it very quickly. Life just happens either way. It doesn't matter. So you just keep going. Here's again, you got a dump truck just there on the side of the road. A lot of times, this is where, I don't mean to be too down on where I come from, but our patience is limited. Here, you just go with it. And you see these little tiendas on the side of the road. You saw those bananos hanging there, or possibly those were plantains. Probably plantano because of the size of them. You see more people supporting. People just walking along. Notice how every place has gates in front of it. Every single shop has these bars at night. And then there's this truck again. We're nearing the end of it now. That truck ends up being the thing that we follow when this entire caravan falls apart. But it's hard to explain. It's like the flavor of salt. You have to have salt to know it because there's nothing to compare it to. The only way to understand Colombia is to be here. And see, here's our friend John. We know this guy. He's with us, actually, and that's his daughter. He's just giving us a heads up to turn here because there was no road guidance. John's at our house a lot, and he's a really great guy. Here we are. Where are we heading into here? Oh, we're heading now south. So if you would have kept going to the left there, you would have went directly to where we live. This is a parallel way to get there. You got to go way south. But here's just people standing in the road. You see that all the time. People just sort of, it's kind of like Frogger. And here's this guy on the side of the road selling his drink. His Hugo is how you say drink. So it's Hugo to whatever he has. I don't even know. I didn't read the sign in time. But see, our balloons are gone because they've blown off. We have the tape up there. This little mall here is, I've been in there. It's not all that, but there's lots of little things like that. Now, this is the very end. Everybody else has gone away, and we pulled over to get gas and found these people, and there's that truck. And the truck said that they were going on to La Tabaira, which is not far from where we live. And so we figured we'd follow. And that's technically the end of the video. But I just think that This was a great day, and these people just kept going like the flags. Okay, I've already kept you 15 minutes. I sort of got cut off there at the end. What I was saying is I liked how they had the Colombian flags as their capes. Is that you should see them going down the road like that. It was very impressive. And so I'm not going to say anything more about this because I know how sideways things can go if somebody from another country starts talking about the politics of a given country. And I don't vote. I didn't even vote when I lived in the United States. I've said that here before. I've never voted in my life. That's a long story, other videos about that. But I will say, in closing, thank you, Colombia, for inviting me to this day. And for those supporters from us in North America that are here, this one expat, cheers and best of luck to you. Man. Hey, everybody. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. And always comment below, share it with friends. It's the only way we can get the message out. And thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time, man.